Adults of Reddit, what is something you really regret doing as a teenager? Thinking social status in high school matters. Oh, I have plenty of things I regret. But while this one's lame, it matters. Anything involving extremely loud noises without hearing protection. Concerts. Clubs. Raves. Motorcycle riding. I'm not talking about those situations where you think it's kinda loud. But those ones where you're standing in front of the speaker stack thinking, geez, this will probably damage my hearing. Spoiler. It does. Not brushing my teeth. Led to a root canal at age 18. Accompanied by some of the most intense pain I've ever felt in my life. And I now have 5 crowns. That's fun. Seriously. No matter how well I've obsessed over dental hygiene in my 20s on. With teeth. The past will always come and bite you in the ass. Obsessing over my crush. What a waste of my precious time and energy. I moved after elementary and ended up going to a middle school where almost no one knew who I was. I was the bully target in elementary and was desperate to escape becoming one at this new place. This girl, let's call her Anna, was the school punching bag and I picked on her so I could fit in. In 8th grade she survived a suicide attempt and ended up listing me and 2 others as her primary abusers. Our school had some serious issues, gangs, drugs, and physical assault on an almost daily basis. The principal didn't think someone getting their feelings hurt was a priority. So he just gave me lunch detention for a month. But I never forgave myself. Someone almost died because I was too goddamn pathetic to be myself. After that, she got bullied even worse by the other 2. But when I refused to partake I was put on the shtier list as well. Got a big taste of my own medicine. Stress. I look back on some of the shit I stressed about and laugh. I fought with my mom. A lot. I'm now about to graduate college. And my deepest regret in life so far is not listening to her while I was still home. Now that I'm completely on my own, I have screwed up many times. And each I've come back crawling to her more times than I can count just for her to give me the advice I rejected as a teenager. Sharing personal information online. I never got stalked or anything. But nowadays some of that stuff still exists. I even put up stories I wanted to one day publish. Nothing comes of it now. But all it takes is one person with a vendetta against me to find out what stupid 15-year-old me thought. I wish I wasn't so quiet. I had plenty of opportunities to have had a good friend group and even a boyfriend or 2. I just let her get the best of me and made me think that no one liked me or cared about me. In reality, I didn't like me enough to let myself have friends. I should have gone out. I should have talked to people. And I shouldn't have been afraid. However, it has made me a better person now. I appreciate the people in my life a lot more. And I have learned to be confident in myself. If I could repeat high school I'd go back and not treat it as seriously as I thought and just have fun with it. I regret that I was overly concerned what other people thought of me and completely ignored my studies. Even though I still think much of it was bullshit. If I had just applied myself I would have had so many more career options and better critical thinking skills when I was in my 20s. Took me 20 more years to finally get to that point. Pussyfooting around my crushes and not just telling them how I felt. To those of you still in high school, just fking go for it. It's high school. Pretty much everything is transient. And besides, high school is far from the deep end. Just take the plunge. Getting pregnant. It makes life harder than necessary when you are that young and not ready. Not investing in Bitcoin. I thought it was ludicrous. But this kid convinced me to put at least a $5 into it. A few years later I cashed out and made about you.I 700. This kid put over you.I 200 in. At 22 he owns and smell. Edit. He sold in mid 2016 when the value peaked at you.I 600 and started to drop. So he made approximately you.I 100. 000. I wonder if he needs a business partner. Getting a memorial tattoo for my mom while she was on her deathbed in a coma. I was too emotionally FK'd up to design it right. She never even saw it. And I strongly dislike it now. I love my other tattoo, which I worked on perfecting for months before I got it. So I'm not opposed to teens getting tattoos in general. But make 100% sure not to do it while emotionally compromised. General advice. Don't do a tattoo that will make you sad every time you look at it. Not forward thinking and planning for my future. I just wasted so much time. I wish I had tried harder in school. I wish I had started saving as soon as I got a job. I wish I had learned to drive sooner, and I wish I had let myself be myself. I really wish I hadn't put so much stock in the YOLO you might die tomorrow so live for today mentality. That kind of thinking can really FCK up your future. There needs to be a balance. Edit. I'm getting a lot of replies telling me that they don't agree. That's nice. These are my regrets. Of course we are not all going to have the same ones. In my circumstances, I know I would have a much happier life right now if I had done the above things. For me, they were terrible choices. At age 17, way too young. Tying myself to the person who would eventually become my husband. And allowing my entire, still forming identity to exist for and revolve around him. I thought I was happy. I believed I knew who I was and was fully aware of the potential outcomes of what I was doing. But I was wrong. At least about some of the important parts. For my own growth and development's sake. It would have been so much healthier if I had been legitimately single for a few years. Just to prove to myself that not only am I capable of living on my own, but I actually like living alone and having total fking autonomy to do whatever I want to do however I want to do it. I spent 20 years believing I couldn't make it alone because I had never tried. That decision is what I regret most about my teenage years. Leaving my original Nintendo and games at an ex-boyfriend's house. All these top comments sound like you all are nice people who just would have liked to have a bit more fun and self-expressiveness. I feel more out of place now that I look at my biggest regret. Man. My regret is just being so mean. It was not all the time though. It was just targeted to some people and only when I was feeling overwhelmed with social things. Instead of telling them that I wanted some alone time or something like that that is adult sounding. I just yelled hurtful insults at them to make them go away. I know I made one girl cry. I felt bad immediately, which just fueled my confused social emotions and made it harder for me to reconcile things with her later. I feel like I left a wake of destruction in my past. Starting to smoke. Yeah, I know what gets me about smoking. And I'm going to tell my daughter? No one ever tells you that you might actually like it. When you're a kid and smell someone smoking. It stinks to high hell. Smells like an ashtray. Right? But you taste it. You actually smoke yourself. And it's different somehow. Thinking I was grown up and hanging around with older boys. I was 13 and they were anything from 17-27. I was taken advantage of and had no idea at the time. I might have known a lot about sex, but I knew nothing about emotions or growing up. Turned down an athletic scholarship to play football. I sucked dick for $20-35 during high school. So, have prices gone up or down? Not taking school seriously. I lucked out and got into a good university. But doing well at that good university was really hard for me the first year because I didn't have any of the skills I needed to succeed. Writing good quality papers. Researching. Even studying. And ended up with a 2.27 GPA due to it. Currently a senior with a 3.13. But it hasn't been easy recovering. Even if you don't plan on attending a college university. School is still important because it teaches you practical life skills. Such as time management and working with others in a civil manner. And consider going to a trade school if you don't want to do the whole college thing. Trades are very important. But people stress going to college so much that high school students often forget that trade school is even an option. If your passion is welding or carpentry or something of the like, you can go to trade school and make your passion your career. Smoking cigarettes. Seriously. Not even once. I spent so much time waiting for something to happen. Like sitting on some steps outside of a house waiting for something to happen. Hanging out with people I did not really like waiting for something to happen. I feel like so much time was wasted waiting for something to happen, instead of doing something or making things happen. Lots of things. Not taking school seriously. General jacassery. Not saving money in a Roth IRA. Not telling my parents to buy stock in Apple or Amazon. And fracturing my hip. Being in such a rush to lose my virginity and be sexually active. Let's be honest. 16-year-old girls have no f***ing idea what they're doing. Fapping was probably more enjoyable. Ability of 16-year-old girls to provide me with a mind-blowingly pornographic sexual experience. Negligible. Ability of 16-year-old girls to effortlessly decimate my self-esteem and confidence. Very high. You're right. Man. I should have just stayed home and learned a skill or a language or something for all the good chasing tail ever did me. SMH. Self-harmed here and there in high school. The antidepressants made me feel nothing and I wanted to at least feel something. I wish I never did and wish I found out that some of my medication conflicted and possibly caused some of my self-harm tendencies. Now I go every day feeling emasculated and hoping that when I manage to find a girlfriend, that she won't think less of me or stuff like that. Edit. Whoa. You all are very supportive. Thanks for all the kind words, everyone. Probably not going to be a popular one. But I regret smoking so much weed when I was young. Not that it wasn't fun, it was. But I really did slack off a lot. To the point where I was letting a lot of people down. Including myself. I don't know what else I would have actually accomplished had I not smoked so much. But just the feeling of letting people down because of my own laziness is something I can't shake. Not being physically active enough. I used Tumblr religiously throughout high school, 2011 to 2015. And I really sort of see it as a double-edged sword. It became a crutch for my social anxiety. Sure. Being in this community of like-minded people was a huge confidence boost for me. But beyond that screen I was still awkward and lonely. I feel I could have gotten over my problems better if I had ripped my nose away from my screen and made some more friends. I only did that towards the tail end of my senior year and into college when I finally got off that website. And it's really kind of sad to me. And now you're on Reddit. Drugs. 2 biggies. 1. Talking my way out of going into foster care to return to my abusive family. 2. Getting married to escape my family. Not doing better in high school, but I did okay in college, so I regret caring as much as I did. Always caring about how others viewed me. My friends. Teachers. Family. Etc. I spent so much time worrying about how people perceived things that I said or did. Whether they might take offense if I say I didn't want to do something, etc. That I forgot to ever really consider how I felt in all of it. Being a tattletale. Really bit me in the ass. I was the awkward loner type that was depressed and made friends with teachers. Believed in the if you're being bullied, tell an adult, until I finally learned after too many years that you've got to stand up to the bullies. Now I kick ass. Being such an angry person. Angry at my dad because he was a jerk to us kids. Getting a protection order against him. Joining the army because I wanted to die and wouldn't do it myself. Not taking my medication. Bipolar. Not lightening the hell up. Wish I would have built up more self-esteem and confidence. More like regret not doing. I was religiously raised and sheltered as a kid and went to a lot of different schools, so when I got to my teens I didn't really have any close friends or knew how to keep them. The same applied to girls. Creating this username. Whenever I respond to someone on Reddit they're like lololol. Okay teenage sadist. Lololol. Okay teenage sadist. Racking up credit card debt. Colon. Using SparkNotes for my senior year English homework assignments out of laziness and then lying about it. When I got confronted by my teacher, I lied about it. Was promptly caught. And because my school had a zero tolerance policy on cheating, I was immediately suspended and not allowed to walk for my graduation. Looking back I feel like the punishment was a bit ridiculous over a pass-fail homework assignment during the last few weeks of senior year. Nevertheless, I still regret it. Removed. I'm a teenager now. And I'm already regretting being shy and not having any balls to ask for a girl I like because the fear of rejection. Killing that guy. At least you didn't shoot the deputy. Wasting my time. Not listening when they said these are the best years. They weren't for me. 20s were where it was at. No, they are absolutely not. I'm much older than HS. And almost everyone my age disagrees with that. Maybe for the guys who peak in HS and are heroin addicts at 18 and dead at 25. But even still, their best years were probably 18. D. Stressing out too hard to enjoy high school. Got herpes. When I was a teenager, I used to self-harm as a way to deal with my emotions. Now, my arms are covered with scars that I have to look at every day. Scars that I do my best to hide because I don't like seeing them and I don't want others to either. They are a part of my life that have made me who I am today. But I think a lot about how I am going to explain them to my children when I have them, and that does make me feel some regret. I regret not transitioning as a teenager. I realized something was up in high school when I would get excited when people would call me he. But my support system, family, then boyfriend, friends, basically told me that I would be unlovable as a man. I packed that shit in a dark closet for 7 years. Now I'm the happiest I've ever been. I wonder how things would have gone if I'd have transitioned sooner.